I did 1 year of college at Michigan State as an undergrad and was struggling. I was essentially on my own. I think what happened with the military is I had a friend who had joined and become a hospital corpsman, a medic, and I was enthralled by his stories about how he learned to do IVs and draw blood and treat patients and everything. And I said, I want that, I need that. That summer between my freshman and sophomore year when I met with a recruiter, I was informed about what HPSP was, HPSP being Health Professions Scholarship Program. That it was a full ride, essentially, for 4 years of medical school. So I thought it would be most interesting to go enlisted, become a medic, get trained to work in a hospital, and find out if I loved it. When I came home from that experience, I went back to Michigan State to complete my physiology degree and my pre-med curriculum, and I was Dean's List every year because I was so directed, so focused and motivated to actually be a doctor finally. I was in love with Navy medicine. When I was doing my 4 years of active duty as a family physician, I was called up to the front triage area where we initially assess all the patients. And I was assigned, or I grabbed a gentleman who was on a stretcher. And he seemed cold, he seemed nervous and scared. I asked him what his name was, what his rank was, and I asked him just for whatever reason, I said, where are you from? And he happened to say Michigan, Rochester, Michigan, and immediately I told him I'm from Michigan, and we kind of bonded. And as I was caring for him and taking care of his and assessing the injuries and kind of coming up with a plan, he said he wanted to go back. He was all set to return. And I didn't have the heart to tell him that he was going to go home because his injuries were pretty extensive. The thing that hit me about it was I was all focused on being a doctor and just doing my job. And it made me think about not just the physical stuff that's going on, it's the mental. It's being in a war and that camaraderie and that looking out for each other, covering each other's back. You just don't see that in other places. I'm Dr. Ron Kuzdak, a Navy Reserve physician. For more information, go to Navy.com or find us on Facebook.